Following her significant loss in the 2015 general election, the People's Democratic Party has been wading through the proverbial political wilderness, ostensibly in search of relevance and a route back into the hearts of millions of Nigerians who supported it for 16 years that it governed the land. Apparently, the journey has been characterized by stories of victories and disappointments almost in equal measure. It does speak volumes, though, that from being buried in a landslide in 2015 to clawing back a number of crucial governorship seats 4 years later in 2019, Nigeria's main opposition party is looking a lot more confident with less than 2.5 years to the next general election in 2023. Joining us now to look at where the party is at the moment and how it plans to tackle the immediate challenges before it is Kola Ologbodiyan, National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And on this occasion of the 3rd anniversary of the party's National Working Committee, we'll be taking him up on prospects and challenges as the 2023 elections draws near, membership drive, intra-party democracy, and the party's reaction to the decision of its major rival, the APC's decision to collapse its administrative structures nationwide, and President Muhammadu Buhari's sudden U-turn on appearing before the House of Representatives to answer questions around insecurity. Welcome to the program, Mr. Ologbodiyan. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Tudun. Good morning, and good morning, Dr. Abati and Rufai.
Good morning,
Nigeria.
Good to have you here. Well, I think we should start with a right of reply. We just, ended a conversation with a member of the All Progressives Congress. You will know him, Daniel Bwala Esquire. And we had asked him the question that, yes, well, when the structures, state and local council level structures were dissolved in the APC this week, you quickly rushed out a statement, or rather, let me say you issued a statement, saying that the APC had now become defunct and that, positions belonging to that party should be declared.
INEC should call, INEC.
Yes, you were advising INEC to also declare those their seats belonging to APC vacant because the party had, become defunct in your own expression. But Daniel Bwala's view is that that was a busybody intervention, that, the PDP was acting like a meddlesome interloper in a matter that does not concern you within the purview of the Electoral Act. What do you have to say in defense?
Well, let me start by commending Daniel Bwala this morning because he spoke largely as a patriot more than as a politician. But having said that, on the issue of meddlesomeness, I will clearly say that we did not meddle. We are a political party. We are operating within the same political firmament. We are guided by the same principles of morality and even on laws. When a political party shows, in the first place, it doesn't have a neck, because the people who are calling themselves NEC members were not elected. 2, Bwala even admitted here too that the chairman of the caretaker committee, Malabunu, is holding 2 offices, executive offices, in contravention of a section of the 1999 Constitution as amended, as well as the constitution of the party. So in the first place, and even he also admitted further that when they held the meeting, the villa, is not the appropriate place. So, and they went there and dissolved all their structure from the polling unit to the national. Then they have ceased to exist. It's just a matter of common sense. If you no longer have structure, you dissolve everything, we should be jubilant, we should be happy. You have gone into extinction by yourself. So as far as we are concerned, the People's Democratic Party, we are not being meddlesome. We are only reacting to a new situation that we have found in the APC. And to go forward from there, I would like you to know, given the experience that we have witnessed even in our own party too, concerning some few states, when you dissolve ESCO across board, to reconstitute it, the crisis that will follow it, APC is going to be lucky to come back safely. But as a matter of fact, as we have said severally, the conversations in public arena is that they are even planning a name change. So all these actions are believed to be a prelude to the final name change.
But I guess the message from the APC is that, the PDP should mind its own business and not, be stretching their necks across the fence to find out what is happening next door. that I guess is the message. But it's okay. Let's leave it at that.
Doctor,
yes.
Doctor, you also know that it's not possible. We are operating with the same political firmament. So we must check what the other is doing. And we are going to the market for the same purpose.
To add to that, the dissolution was immediately followed by an intent to reconstitute. So the ruling party is still very much alive and kicking. But I'd like you to address what we were discussing with our previous guest, this sudden U-turn, as it's been described, which I still refuse to believe is going to happen, by the way. And there's an allegation that there's a plot to embarrass the president by members of the PDP. I'd like you to address that.
Okay, thank you very much, Tudu. Well, for us in the People's Democratic Party, we still believe that the president will not go back on his own words. Although all the promises he made since 2015, he has not been able to fulfill any. So if he refused to go to the House of Rep, he's just following the line of refusing to honor promises. However, we still believe that he will go there. Because even yesterday, I have not confirmed this, but I got reports that the House has already passed a motion that will allow Mr. President to come into the chamber with his retinue of aides. So I believe that Mr. President will go to the House of Rep. However, if he fails to do so, our party will react formally. But having stated this, it's also important to say that Mr. President has nothing to tell Nigerians. That is why he's running away from the... If he doesn't go, that will be the only reason why he cannot go and attend the session. He has nothing to tell Nigerians. He has failed in every ramification.
Who are plotting to heckle him and embarrass him that might be behind this advice that he's been given by APC members, misguided advice, I feel. But are there plots to heckle and embarrass the president?
There's nothing we have not heard in the last 24 hours. We have heard about attempt to go and get a court injunction by the cabal to stop the president from going to the National Assembly. We have heard that the Deputy Senate President has said he should not go. But when did Mr. President begin to take instructions from governors, from ministers? If he has been taking instruction, what stops him from taking the instruction from the generality of Nigerians that he should reject his security architecture? I insist to do. Mr. President is just afraid of the obvious. He knows he has nothing to tell Nigerians. However, let me emphatically say this. There is no plan of any sort by any member of the House of Rep elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party and who is working in consonance with the party that to embarrass Mr. President. There's nothing like that. Mr. President is only afraid of his own shadows.
All right, let me talk about your own business. Let's move to your own business now, rather than looking into other people's business. You know, the PDP now is like Jason. It's looking for its own golden fleece now, which is the president's in 2023 elections. But a lot of watchers are saying that you seem to be fleecing away all your jewels. You know, Dave Umahi is one. We also saw the brickbat between him and governor of Rivers State as regards that, you know, on national TV, the back and forth. And there's also talk about the APC looking at one of your biggest jewels, that's the former president. You know, there's been talk in political space. This is your business. This is your hot potato. What's your take on all of this?
For us in the People's Democratic Party, we have taken charge of what we call our business. As a party, I can say clearly today that we are the most cohesive political party in Nigeria. You can see what is happening in the house of our neighbors. So you know it as a fact. The fact that they claim that, oh, once that Governor David Umahi leaves the People's Democratic Party, there will be a deluge. Have you seen any deluge? I remember you told me here, Rufai. And even if you draw an example from what happened in 2018, 2019, when they said that after our national convention in Port Harcourt, where Alhaji Atiku Abubakar emerged as the candidate, that, oh, the party will collapse, it will go into tatters. We went into that election and increased our numbers of states from 10 or 11 to 17 before they physically stole one, and then one governor left. So as far as I'm concerned, I've said this repeatedly, and I've said it on this platform too, the People's Democratic Party is a structured political party. It's a party that operates on the guidance of our constitution. It's a party that shares feelings with the ordinary Nigerians. So as a result of that, those who are claiming, APC will always claim, you should expect that. They have become a bad market, and as such, they are looking for people to drag along, and they are holding on to straws everywhere you go. So as far as we are concerned, there is nothing that we are losing the People's Democratic to the All Progressives Congress. And as a matter of fact, like we started this discussion, this conversation, does APC exist as a party in your own estimation? Does it look like a party any longer? A party that has no structure? A party that's relying on a caretaker committee across board in the entire federation? Does it look like a party to you?
Mr. Ologbodiyan, I want to talk about that.
Nigerians are aware. Nigerians know.
I want to talk about that your crown jewel that I want to talk about that your crown jewel that the APC is looking at. Former president,
yes.
You know, there were talks about meetings by APC governors meeting, former President Goodluck Jonathan, and it's out there. Political watchers and in the public space, it's conversation. In fact, I was driving yesterday evening and I was listening on the radio, and that was the conversation. That the APC, possibility of President Jonathan running on the APC 2023 elections, the plans and things like that. So it's out there in public space. They are looking and eyeing your crown jewel.
Rufai, PDP can sit down today, assuming that President Muhammadu Buhari performed very, very well in office and is loved by Nigerians. PDP can sit down today in our own estimation and say, let's go for President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's go and bring him to our party. Should that make APC to lose sleep? Why should we be bothered about people who are working on innuendos and claiming that they are acting? Where is the action? Oh, so because some few governors went to visit President Goodluck Jonathan in his residence on his birthday, then it's concluded that he's going towards APC or that he has joined APC. For me, you know, there are many things. I'm a reporter, yes, but there are many things that I cannot come to the public and come and divulge. But I want to assure you that former President Goodluck Jonathan is politically savvy enough to know that he has no space in the All Progressives Congress. And I want to leave this discussion at that level.
Well, Kola, let me ask you, after the APC NEC meeting, one of the issues that the party responded to was the security situation in the country. And Malam Nasir Rufai, who spoke on behalf of the party, addressed that particular issue. He said, well, in their view, it's regrettable, but that the Northern Elders Forum and the People's Democratic Party are calling for the resignation of the president, politicizing national security. And I think another member of the APC also made a point that, yes, the PDP is just politicizing national security, even when it lacks any alternative ideas about how the security challenge should be addressed. And even when the PDP was in power, the situation was even worse. Those are their allegations. What do you say to that?
Dr. Abati, you will agree with me that nobody, no political party in the history of Nigeria has politicized the issue of national security like the All Progressives Congress and its leaders. None. And I say so because we must go back in history to 2014 and 2015. Every effort by then President Goodluck Jonathan to secure our nation was politicized by the APC and its leaders. There is no way you will find a suggestion of the APC or any of its leaders on how to secure Nigeria between 2014 and 2015. And even as we speak today, has the APC spoken as a party on how to secure our nation? No. You will recall that even on the issue of mercenaries, it was APC who strongly opposed. And even when they wanted to take security men out of the country to train them, APC alleged, including Malam El-Rufai, Kaduna State Governor, alleged that the party and the government went to train snipers that would come and kill them. And they started forming lists of those whom the snipers would kill. They even said that it was unconstitutional to arrest Boko Haram members. So why are they talking about politicization? For us in the PDP, our stance, and that has been the stand of many eminent Nigerians, is that if you put a man as service, if you put people in office as service chiefs, going to 6 years, and they cannot deliver, and they have become war fatigued, that it is common sense even to a recruit in the even to a recruit in the Nigerian military to know that it is time to rejig the structure. And everybody has called out the president that rejig the structure, and he has refused. You call that politicization? We have insisted as a party that the way out is for Mr. President to seek help internally and externally. And it appears as if you are talking to a deaf and dumb administration, People who don't listen, people who are all-knowing, people who don't want to hear the views of others because they don't belong to their party. So how do you hold us responsible for that? They can't hold us responsible. We have not politicized the issue of security in any way. Rather, we have canvassed objectives, we have canvassed positions that the government can follow and save our nation from this insecurity situation in which we have found ourselves.
Well, meanwhile, back at the ranch, PDP also has schisms within the party. Otherwise, there would not be a need for the Reconciliation Committee headed by the former Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, who described it, he made an attempt to downplay the issues, called it a Herculean assignment. What is your take on that, on those issues, and how are those reconciliation efforts going?
Yeah, Tundu, let me start by saying that even in the church or in the mosque, there could be contestation. So the whole political arena and the entire political environment is about contestation for power. So as a result of that, there's nothing serious to say that, oh, interests are contending. What's important is that after this contention, when the storm is settled, are you able to move together to challenge the opponent in the election? So what we have done in the People's Democratic Party is to look ahead and say that the former president of the Senate, Senator Kola Saraki, should come in and lead a reconciliation where there are contestations over congresses within our party. They should reconcile the groups that are contending. And even as we go, it's a standing committee, even as we move into the elections, they should ensure that our party remains cohesive and united. And so far, so good. They have hit the ground running and they are working. But I can't disclose everything that they are doing here. However, let me also tell you that the committee is also strategic. It's a strategic committee and it's a standing committee.
Will the committee also look at the case of Honorable Elumelu and Honorable Chinda?
Well, let me say here publicly that the issue of Elumelu and Chinda is almost concluded. The chairman of the Governors Forum, the former speaker, Aminu Waziri Tambuwa, is the one responsible to reconcile, being the former speaker himself, is one responsible to reconcile the two groups. However, I must also say that if there is a need for an adapt, if there will be, for Senator Saraki's committee to oversight in that arena, there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to assure you that the matter has almost reached its end.
Well, Kola, there's yet another matter. The PDP caucus in the House of Representatives is said to be calling for the impeachment of the president. And I think it's Babafemi Ojudu speaking on behalf also of the vice president, saying that the PDP caucus is trying to be mischievous with a February 8, 2015 tweet by the vice president, Professor Osinbajo. But the one I would like you to address is the point about the PDP caucus seeking the impeachment of the president. Is that a party decision, or the PDP caucus is just, going on a frolic of its own? Is the PDP itself, did the PDP at any point take a decision that the way to address national security issues is to impeach the president?
I want to appeal that we should not mix up issues in this country. The caucus of the People's Democratic Party, having examined the massive failure of the Buhari administration, and I mean the caucus in the House of Reps, said, look, this country cannot move forward with this president. And as such, within their constitutional right as members of the House of Representatives, called on Nigerians to mandate and direct their members in the parliament, in the National Assembly, to begin to initiate impeachment process. This was the content of the argument. And for us in the party, we find nothing wrong with that. It is constitutional. Impeachment is contained in the Nigerian Constitution, and the processes are clear. So if they are exercising their right as member of the House of Reps and as the caucus of our party, and asking that the Nigerians, this president and this government that is leading us on a journey to nowhere and cannot take us anywhere, it is better we remove the president. What will be wrong with that? What is wrong with it? It's constitutional. It is enshrined in Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, that the president can be impeached, the governors can be impeached, the vice president can be impeached, the deputy president can be impeached, the deputy governors can be impeached. So what is the issue about it? And Nigeria is not complaining. Dr. Abati, you and I, are we not complaining? Are we not complaining? Are we satisfied with what the president is doing or what his government is doing? No, the answer is no. You can't answer me, but I answer.
No, let me speak for myself.
The answer is no.
Speak for yourself.
No, I've spoken on your behalf.
Where is this massive disaffection that you're claiming? When we look at the by-election results of December 5th, APC won 3 seats, PDP won 3. Is the glass half full or half empty? Because the country does not seem to be groaning as loudly as you attest.
If you look at the states where the APC won, as a matter of fact, one of the states in which they claim to have won is in contention. Imo is in contention. In Plateau, we knew how they won. So, and you know how APC has been winning the election. You know.
How have they been winning
You recall how helicopter went to Kogi State. You recall how helicopter went to Kogi State to go and chase voters, and ballot boxes were snatched and stolen, and people were killed. You see, when people say that there's no difference between PDP and APC, I find it laughable. The People's Democratic Party is not a party of cowboys and brigands. No, we are not. Unlike our neighbors, we are not. We are a party that has processes. We are a party that respects rules. We are a party that follows procedures in everything that we do, including electioneering. So you cannot be comparing us and say, oh, PDP won 3, APC won 3. The glass is half full. No, I don't agree with you.
Except that I can.
Where we won election.
Sorry, but those are the facts. I'm sure you wish it was different, but those are the facts.
No. I don't agree. Yes, doctor.
That means you have alternative facts if you don't agree with the facts on ground. But quickly, let me just quickly put this in the spirit of alternative facts, or real facts, I should say. Why has Lagos been elusive for your party? Why is it that the last central elections you couldn't make inroads? I mean, look at, it was a thrashing. The APC thrashed PDP in Lagos. It was like, imagine, 6-1. And that was an election where a lot of people thought the PDP was going to make big inroads, in Lagos. Why?
Let me say here that the Lagos East election is being looked into by the party, and I don't want to undermine those who have been assigned to look at the reason for the failure in Lagos. I don't want to undermine their responsibility. So maybe when next I come on this platform, I will have been able to speak to it.
So it's just been looked into? That's all you can say about that? But you're not denying the fact that the APC won the election because you're trying to dispute Tundu's facts. You're not denying the fact that the APC won the election and PDP was thrashed.
In my example, Rufai, I spoke about Imo and I spoke about Plateau in respect of the states that were won by the APC. I didn't speak to Lagos. So, and one of the reasons why I didn't speak to Lagos is the fact that I do not want to undermine those who have been given responsibility to look into what happened in Lagos. So, and I still want to leave it at that, if you permit me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Kola Ologbodiyan, for joining us this morning. We hope that the APC will also have an opportunity to respond to you point by point. Thank you very much.